Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning after a bit of a hiatus. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but doing much better, I think. And today we're returning to our Let's Play series of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. It is July 17th, 1862, so we're still early on in the war, but maybe closer to the end than to the beginning here. You can see up on the top, this little sort of power chart here says that the Federals have a major advantage. The war is going well for us. We've taken Richmond with the 2nd Corps of the Army of the Potomac. On our left flank, the 1st Corps is taking Western Virginia, the western portion of Virginia itself. West Virginia has already seceded from the Confederacy and joined us. We also apparently have the Department of Pennsylvania with 28,000 troops currently in retreat. We need to arrest that force because I need it in order to continue driving deep into Virginia. I need to clear out the peninsula and get rid of the Army of the Potomac here. To do that, I need another force in this area outside of the 2nd Corps. And I think to do that, we're going to bring the coastal army down because I don't see much point in, launching more amphibious invasions when we've gotten such great momentum going on the land front. So we're going to go ahead and bring Major General Horace Ferry's coastal army to the south, and we're going to go ahead and have it move by rail and join the Army of the Potomac, I think. To that end, let's go ahead and transfer. Let's go ahead and pull the Army of the Potomac up, and I guess this will be the 3rd Corps in the Army, although it's really only a division. It'll operate separate, however, so we'll go ahead and deploy it as a corps. The coastal army is no more, and it is now the 3rd Corps under General Ferry. All right, so these guys are going to be moving south via rail. 5,000 men, I think, should be enough to dislodge the Army of the Potomac, which is also about 5,000 men. And then we can begin the 2nd Corps' advance south of the river. I don't want to advance south of Richmond until we've cleared their right flank so the enemy can't come right in and sort of cut us off. The Department of Pennsylvania, once it arrests its retreat, can move up, and then the 1st Corps can either swing east or swing south, depending on what the 2nd Corps is doing. I'd like to have the 2nd and 1st advance sort of in parallel lines here, one moving down into North Carolina toward Weldon, and then the other moving west toward Danville. That would be Danville, Virginia, and then Greensboro, North Carolina. That would be the ideal line of advance. Meanwhile, we also have the 5th Corps here, which is out toward Knoxville, Tennessee. It's currently attempting to get its readiness up so it can launch an invasion of western North Carolina, maybe making a drive on Charlotte. But if the advance south from Virginia into North Carolina is making progress by that point, then we may divert them southwest. And there's a nice little crossroads here, but it doesn't look like there's a town there. But then they can maybe advance on Augusta, securing the flank of General Grant's force, which is currently sitting in Atlanta, which has already fallen to the Union as well. The one problem Grant is going to run into, he may have to withdraw because we don't really have a whole lot of depots up here and we haven't unlocked foraging yet. And so they're in a bit of a tricky situation right now from a supply perspective, although they are on the Cumberland River. So, well, I guess they can't. They're not on the Cumberland River, sorry, but I don't guess they don't have any river supply line where they're at. Meanwhile, further west, the 3rd Corps of the Army of Kentucky, I think it is under Major General William Tecumseh Sherman, is currently embroiled with a bunch of Confederate armies, the Army of the Shenandoah, the Army of the Tennessee, of about equal of its own force. I'm not sure if they've already fought a battle here or if they're about to fight a battle, but they've taken Decatur, Alabama, advancing south from Tennessee into northern Alabama, and this is the most likely place where I think another fight would occur soon. It doesn't look like we've defeated these 2 Confederate armies yet, so that could be a relatively even affair. Meanwhile, to the northwest, up near Mississippi, the Confederates have a small force of Missouri State Guard troops here that have slipped north toward Jackson, so we may need to move the 4th Corps under Don Carlos Buell north to challenge these guys to take the Confederate capital at Jackson. We have taken Memphis, Tennessee, though, off to the west. And then in Arkansas, we've taken the capital of Little Rock, and we are now advancing west to try and engage the Western Army here, about equal force, so we can secure the western portion of the state, maybe move south toward Shreveport to the Red River, and maybe go after the Oklahoma Territory and the Native American allies of the Confederacy there, maybe knocking them out of the war. But that's the situation. Offensive pretty much on all fronts, but at the moment, a little bit of a pause for logistics across the board. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we do have a battle coming. Just as I said, it's going to be in, where is this again? The Army of the Shenandoah of the 3rd Corps is in contact with the 3rd Corps, the Army of the Kentucky, and this is in northern Alabama. So this could, if the AI, no, actually they only have 5,000 and 6,000. I misread that then. I thought they had more men than that. So we're still going to be outnumbered almost 2 to 1. All right, well, we'll play the battle in any event. The Battle of Decatur, Alabama, July 17th, 1862. The Confederacy fields about 11,000 men under Major General Zolkoffer. See, one thing the AI really needs to do is replace commanders who suck. Zolkoffer's lost like 7 battles already, and he's still in command. The AI does not apparently know how to manage armies once they take casualties. Like, it raises armies effectively, but once they take casualties and they get withered away, it doesn't ever replace the commander. It doesn't ever merge them with other armies. Like, that's a major area that the AI needs improvement on, is managing of its forces on the campaign map. Okay. The enemy army is green and their morale is reportedly broken. Okay, well, good for us. We are on the defensive. You can see our troops up here. So there's one of the objectives. There's one objective here, one objective here. What are all the objectives exactly again? There's 2, Ward's Ridge and Davis's Road, and Ward's Ridge is right here. This is kind of a crappy map for us to try and fight on. There's a lot of swamp you can see here. Tucker's Marsh. I'm not sure which map this actually is. It's obviously not Decatur itself, but like the game has different maps that you can play on. I don't know if I've played on this map before. Cooper Mountain, Coleman's Ridge. Presumably the Confederates are going to come on the map down here. And so that'll put them on this road moving north. They'll want to come after the objective up here. So they're probably going to follow this roadway and then head west and up this roadway here. So actually, one nice thing of this particular map is we've got a nice little fence line here. So we can go ahead and we can take the 1st Division under Fremont. We're going to have Fremont's division sort of guard the left flank. I don't see any natural defensive positions over here. So we'll just kind of have them deploy over here. And he's probably enough to stop. He's got 9,000 men. He might even be able to stop the Confederates all by himself. But we'll go ahead and deploy him over here just in the event that the enemy does come up our left flank. I think I'll deploy him a little bit further south, get down along these trees, this tree line down here just out of range. So we're not going to dig him in. So that way he can have a clear field of fire if anybody comes up this way. And then we'll deploy Hancock's division in a single line. The other 9,000 troopers of ours. And then we'll go ahead and put Ibrahim Dury's brigade here on the left flank on this fence line. Baker will also be on that fence line. And then I think I actually need another brigade or 2. So maybe, is this all my troops? I thought I would have had a 3rd division. I guess I only have 2. Huh. Okay. I probably shouldn't deploy quite so many troops on my left flank. I'll pull 1 brigade back. So let's do this. Let's put the cavalry on. I mean, there's a swamp here, so I don't think it's super likely that they'll come up that way. So we'll go ahead and put Sturgis on the flank. He's got Sharp's carbines, so he's got like basically machine guns. We'll dismount these guys. Can I not dismount them before the battle? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. All right, well, whatever. We'll place them here. Put the infantry here. And I really just need 1 more brigade on the main line, I think. We'd probably be better off just throwing them in actual entrenchments, but the AI may be reluctant to assault troops in too strong a position. So we'll take the 5th Illinois, deploy them over here. Okay. Shift these troops around a little bit. Come on. There we go. All right. So those are all in good positions, I think. Deploy the cavalry a little bit further north. This infantry here. And we'll throw these infantry in a parapet. I'm not sure what direction the parapet faces. Does it go like this or like this? Which direction's the firing line? Let's do this. Because I'm never really sure. I've got sufficient engineering points to waste. Right click. I hope I didn't just put these backwards. I think I might have. I didn't. All right, that works. So put these guys here. We'll put the cavalry in there once they get dismounted. But you can see here we built this parapet for 2 brigades on our extreme left. And we also threw up some obstacles in front of the parapets, which will slow down any enemy advance. Okay, so these guys are in great position here. These guys slightly worse. They're on fence lines. But I don't have the engineering points to make them that much better. We'll put our rifles here on the ridge itself, I guess. And then Sherman can make this sort of his headquarters up here. And we'll take this battery also and put it up here. So we've got 2 batteries of rifled guns, 10-pound Parrots and 3-inch ordnance rifles. Reno's brigade. I guess, you know, let's just put these guys here. Much closer to our front. The position makes a lot more sense for Fremont to have 2 brigades this way, 1 the other direction. And this way, one of them is in a wood line. The other's on the road. Do I have the points to build a parapet here? I do. Okay. I think I put these guys backwards. Well, maybe not. All right, so we built the parapet there. These guys have the woods. And so our right flank will be secure here. We're kind of cutting across a ridge, which probably isn't the best tactical position, but I really don't think they're going to come up our left. So we can just kind of sit here and wait for the AI to come to us. We'll also allow the AI to get the benefit of having that additional division of troops show up for them. So we'll go ahead and dismount these guys and deploy the infantry into the parapets. And there you go. Or the cavalry. So they've got their sharps weapons in line. These boys are, let's set everybody to long range fire. I know it wastes a little bit more ammo, but that way we can take real advantage of our superior weaponry. I'm assuming this changed. Yep. Everybody's long range. It is, what time is it? Oh, it's already like the end of the day. So the AI is going to probably not fight us today. So we've got John Fremont, the Pathfinder, and Winfield S. Hancock, the Superb. All right, so that's going to do it for, I assume, this day's fight. But we'll let the time go on, and then I will jump in here once there's contact with the enemy. I mean, this is a big map. I could march to try and meet the enemy, but it says we're on the defensive. This is the objective we want to hold, so that's where the AI is going to flow to. If they do come on the map, if that next, army comes on the map anywhere else, they could come up this roadway. That may pose a little bit of a challenge for us. But I'm pretty confident in securing myself on my flank on this this marshland, and then I can always, pull a brigade out of this stout line and move it west or something. Anyway, let's jump forward and once we actually make contact with the enemy. All right, and here we go. We've spotted the enemy coming up this roadway. It is the second day of the battle, so we did go through the night phase, and we've got what looks like a brigade coming up here up the main road. Greg's brigade of about 500 men. It says they've taken 4 casualties already. Not sure how. We're just encountering them for the first time. I did move my 10-pound parrots up. I couldn't really get a good line of sight behind my line, so I moved them up in front of my line, just assuming they could, bombard the enemy a little bit as they came up the road. And right as they were repositioning here, Greg's brigade started coming up. And so I can always throw my infantry out front of the guns to shield them in the event that that we need to here. But for the moment, it looks like Greg is halting and forming up with the Army of the Shenandoah in front of our line. Just a single brigade, 450 men. The enemy's supposed to have about 9,000 to 10,000 troops total. So not sure where the rest of the enemy army is, but we've at least spotted something coming up this way, and we'll see what comes next. It is 8:43 in the morning, and really been struggling to get anything into action here, or from an artillery perspective. The terrain looks nice and open, but the elevation is, I suppose if I put my infantry down below these hills, maybe up front, we'd have a better ability to fight the enemy. But at the moment, anyway, not so much. They only got one shot off, and then the enemy must have ducked in to a place we couldn't really see him. Yeah, you can see the little orange lines indicate what you can actually see, which I don't really understand, because you'd think hey, we're on this hill, because we can see the elevation markers here. I guess they're probably right underneath the hill. So if we're up here, we can't see down low enough. So they're probably in a little bit of a swale. All right, never mind. He just fired off a volley. Someone else just shot. And now the enemy's gone. We can't see him anymore. Let's do this. Let's take the 1st Brigade under Henry Baker. His troops are in their first battle. Actually, a lot of our troops are in their first battle. We'll deploy some skirmishers here from both the 1st Brigade and the 3rd Brigade under Dury. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't advance these guys a little bit. Maybe engage that enemy brigade. The enemy's morale is not good. They've only got about 450 men. I'm bringing 2 units of skirmishers forward, about 400 men total, in front of our line to maybe sweep this enemy brigade away. Given that our will be in loose order formation and they're in close order formation, this should be a pretty easy fight here. The enemy's already withdrawing. Have we taken a man? We haven't lost a casualty yet. The enemy is firing back, but not effectively. Meanwhile, he's lost over almost 10% of his troops already. And it looks like he's been routed. So no sign of other enemy brigades at the moment. We'll send our skirmishers into the woods to see if we can find him. All right, boys, get out in there. Go find them Rebs. I'd love to have the cavalry run them down. but we'll probably get out of there before we can hit them with our cavalry. Presumably the enemy didn't just send one brigade forward. There's got to be more troops around here somewhere. This railroad cut would have been a nice defensive position as well, but given it's in the wood, it feels like we made a better choice with a better field of fire to hold where we did. Still no sign. We're seeing couriers come up to this brigade, but we're not seeing other enemy troops yet. Oh, we've got another enemy brigade out here. It looks like Hood's brigade is back here, about 2,400 men strong. Jackson has a small brigade back here as well of cavalry. Stewart's cavalry, 219 men. Like, the enemy should have 11,000 men, and I would think they would be pressing forward to try and, you know, do something rather than just sitting back here and waiting. The AI does not seem to want to come forward. Colquitt has, like, I don't understand what this position, what is the enemy doing? Hancock, go fuck him. Go move your brigade out to this, or move your division out to this railhead and just drive the enemy back. I don't even think I need the rest of my troops. Cavalry, forwards. Scout the enemy position out. Bring Hancock's boys forward. We'll bring William Wallace's brigade up as a reserve too, so we'll have 11,000 men. This division plus one brigade is going to have more manpower than the entire Confederate Army. All right. Gregg is routed. We're going to move Sturgis up with his carbine infantry. Hancock's going to deploy his superb division forward. Not sure why the 1st Brigade's not moving yet. We've made contact. A volley against our cavalry here. Wow. 60, almost 70 cavalrymen lost already. But the good news is they've got rapid firing Sharps carbines, so they can get into the fight pretty quickly. There is some artillery on their flank as well, eating a lot of enemy lead, but given back pretty well. All right, Dury, come on, bring your brigade up. 3rd Brigade, come up here and engage the enemy artillery. The cavalry's already pulling back. I don't want to get my cavalry too shot to pieces here, so we may pull back here in a second. Alright, they're very tired. Huh. Lost about 400 men. The enemy's lost about 300. Alright, just advance through their ranks then. Pull back to the rail. Alright, so they burned through about a third of their ammunition with these Sharps carbines. They lost probably about 600 men. The enemy lost about 400. Why are they moving forward? What are you doing, Sturgis? Get the fuck back. That's an order. I guess the extra muskets would presumably bloody Hood pretty bad, but your job is not to do that. Get the infantry up, let them fight themselves, but you're going to keep deploying yourself so that you're in range. And you're going to keep taking casualties. What is this AI doing? Oh shit. 3rd Brigade broke? From what? They lost 30 men! You're getting freaking canned, Stockton. I know I'm fighting on ×10 speed, but like, literally all they did was fire it at some enemy guns and they lost? They routed? Alright, get the hell back. I'm just gonna order you all the way out. This is your first battle. You're probably over-eager. Rushing up there. You have orders to get the hell out of there before your goddamn cavalry routes. You're very close to routing. 700 rebel losses. The enemy's inflicted more on us than we on them. And it'll be kind of a disaster if this brigade routes. I guess I could just give them orders to retreat. No, it won't let me give them orders to retreat? All right, cavalry, follow your damn orders and pull out. Please. You're still taking casualties. All right, so they're withdrawing. Meanwhile, Hood's brigade has lost about just shy of 900 men. But they're doing good work on our troops. Colonel Abraham Durree's troops have lost just shy of 600 men. Meanwhile, the 3rd Brigade is broken. Why don't you go rally your men? 5th Illinois is coming up. I don't see any other rebel troops yet. Where the hell are they? Are they going some sort of wide flanking maneuver for the rear objective, maybe? All right, you're going to have to take care of Colquitt's battery. 3rd Brigade. All right, the enemy's lost about 1,000 men. Our 3rd Brigade has lost over 500 men. Looks like Hood is starting to pull back. Lost 900 men. He's broken now. So that's 2 enemy brigades broken of their army. Which looks like the enemy's basically about to rout. Very close to the edge of that blue bar. But they're supposed to have like 9,000 to 10,000 men. All so far, all we've seen is what, like 3,000? And some artillery? Tennessee State Militia back here with about 800 men. Like, I don't understand this deployment by the AI. You're on the offensive, you're coming at me, and you deploy like staggered individual brigades up and down this road? Somehow Sturgis's boys didn't end up retreating by the looks of it, but they got far enough out of there where they didn't lose too many men. Colquitt has lost about 30. He'll rout once this 5th Brigade comes up. So remind me to fire Colonel Stockton. He's a distinguished commander with 2 stars of experience, but boy, did he lost 30 men and routed 3,000. That's just unacceptable. All right, Colquitt's flanked and routing. 3rd Brigade, meanwhile, is nervous. They're nervous. Well, whatever. You did your job, boys. First battle, you lost 500 men, but you routed one of the few enemy fresh brigades. All right, so Hood is pulling back. He lost about a third, or about just a little bit less than half of his troops. Probably just have to go drive off the Tennessee Militia Brigade, and I'm assuming the enemy will withdraw from the field. Cheatham has about 1,600 men he's finally bringing up. I wonder if this is all like bad intel and only one of the 2 enemy armies actually deployed here, and so they're like fighting with 8,000. Well, I guess the manpower does add up. This is just really a pathetic Confederate showing. Bring the skirmishers up. We'll have Sturgis bring his cavalry forward a little bit. Actually, you know, what'd be great is we could charge these guys down in the open out on the right. Meanwhile, William Wallace is coming forward with 3,000 muskets strong. I think this entire division is fighting its first battle. They have Enfield rifled muskets instead of Springfields. So these are imported from the British, which is sort of the British equivalent of the Springfield. You'll see some arguments that the Springfield was better, but I think depending on who you talk to, that perspective may be due more to the fact that the Americans didn't train to use the Enfield in its sort of most effective manner. You know, firing rather than firing straight at the enemy using a parabolic trajectory really extends the range of the Enfield quite a lot beyond what you generally saw happen in the Civil War. And so that was something that I think the Enfield would have shown much better if the Americans trained their troops to be marksmen, which the British did and the Americans really didn't do. But professional army versus volunteer army, etc. Also, you probably weren't going to hold troops back for an extended period of time until they were, you know, expert marksmen in a war like the Civil War. All right, so Wallace is engaged. He's lost about 37 men. He's inflicted over 114 casualties on the enemy so far. Sturgis's boys are coming up. They don't have great morale. You know, they're close to breaking, but I think if we can give them sabers in the back of enemy infantry that's withdrawing, they may show a little bit of backbone. Cheatham's brigade is volleying away. Looks like both enemy brigades have high fatigue. Mine don't appear to. What's this horse thing? I don't know why it's like not displaying. Tooltip here. Maybe it was like they're rested? Not sure. Right, cavalry's disrupted. Enemy's withdrawing across relatively open ground. Charging disrupted's probably not advisable. There's nothing out here that's going to shoot at me. We would have to charge across a river or a creek, but I say do it. Worst case scenario, you guys rout, I replace your commander, and, you know, we just bring up other troops. Cheatham's up to 3,700 or 370 casualties versus about 200 for William Wallace. His boys are doing splendidly for their first fight. The enemy's morale is broken. I'm guessing that's what that broken heart means. And Sturgis is coming into the back of these enemy troops. Sabers raised. Now, his troops are tired and disrupted, so they may not charge very well, but the enemy's not shooting back. Are they in melee yet? I don't know why it shows them facing the wrong direction. Charging. Woods Brigade. All right, so we are now in melee. You can hear that trigger just fired. And so the enemy is losing men to our charging cavalry. We're very tired and disrupted, but the enemy isn't shooting back. Meanwhile, these guys are running, so let's go ahead and have Wallace charge after them. They are tired after that engagement, but the enemy's fatigue is presumably greater. They only lost about 400 men before they ran, so I'd like to try and bump that up a bit. My boys are charging forward very disorganized-like. The enemy army has been ordered to retreat. We've got 50 minutes to pursue. It's a minor victory at this point. We haven't destroyed enough of the enemy troops. But I think if we rout both of these enemy armies or brigades totally, which is possible, we might get a major victory out of this. Okay, so they are now engaged in melee. We'll see how that translates. Hood's brigade is melting slowly. And we'll speed things up. Never found more of the enemy troops. I assume there were more of them somewhere. Keep charging, boys. Keep the melee going. Don't let them get away. You're getting away. Infantry chasing infantry is not the best. Method of pursuit. Cheatham's brigade did end up losing almost 50% strength, though. So we don't have much more time to pursue. What did Hood do? Hood ended up losing about 400 men. Oh no! William Wallace's boys have broken. It's a victory, but only a minor one. The enemy lost about 2,500 of its 10,000 infantry. I feel like we didn't see like 5,000 of the enemy infantry. We lost about 1,500 of our troops of our 20,000 men, 740 cavalry and 780 infantry. And there you go, a victory. The Battle of Decatur was a federal minor victory. And so we'll drive those two rebel armies back, hopefully not into the rear of Grant. Enemy morale drops by a little bit less than 1%. I should double check and see what the enemy national morale is now. It's got to be low. I think it's got to get quite a bit lower for them to surrender. I think it's like 25. Okay. All right. Major Colquitt loses face. Battle of Decatur, 1,300 enemy rifles captured. All right. So if we go up here and we take a look, national morale 38 to 94. The Confederate morale breaks at 25, so we're getting close. National support, the rebels still have quite a bit of support at 71. Ours is obviously greater at 86. Morale of the army 60 to 54. Surprisingly, the rebel army still have pretty high morale. 29 to 11 in terms of loyal states to the cause. 240,000 men on our armies versus 61,000 of the rebels. 8,700 tons of shipping for the Rebs, 68,000 for the Federals. But on the rivers, the enemy keep beating us because the river naval combat is still kind of borked. 45 to 9 in terms of battles won. 57,000 Union casualties versus 134,000 Confederate. And yeah, major Federal advantage at the moment. So those rebel armies are going to withdraw. Looks like they're going to pull east. So that will put them toward the rear of the Army of the Cumberland, which is not in a great supply situation. They're holding Atlanta, but there's not really... I don't have any depots out this way. So I'm kind of curious where they're going to withdraw. Oh, they're withdrawing east, but then they pull back west. It looks like we're about to have a battle with Don Carlos Buell against Sterling Price, about 4,000 versus 8,000 troops. I don't trust Buell to fight on his own, especially with low morale. So I'm going to have to fight that battle manually. But we'll do that in our next video because this one's been going on for a little bit. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed our return to Grand Tactician the Civil War. As you can tell, it feels very much like mopping up operations, but hopefully we win a victory soon. I would raise more troops, but my credit rating is so poor. Our economy is in such shambles because I don't know what the hell I'm doing economically, that I'm not allowed to raise any more troops. So we've got to fight with the army that we have. Because our economy is broke. But until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. I'm back, kind of. And I don't know if it'll be an everyday affair or it's still a little bit broken up, but we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts down below. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.